Hey guys, so last night I watched Social Dilemma. I wasn't going to watch it actually, and I know everyone's sort of talking about it, and I've had a number of people tell me to watch it, and I wasn't resisting intentionally. I thought I knew what it was going to be about because, to me, the addiction to social media and the evils of it are all pretty obvious. I've been looking at that for a while now, so I just felt like there are better ways that I can use my time. Second of all, I don't watch Netflix anymore. I'm finally off it, and that has taken me a long time to get to there, so I'm pretty pleased about that. And the third reason is, of course, the confusion. So what I mean by that is, why would Netflix be doing a show about poo-pooing social media? Like we all know, in my opinion, Netflix is like the church of the modern age. Whatever series is trending at the time, you can be sure it's what the latest collective opinion of the masses is. And this, of course, is no accident. If you think about the last couple of years of what anyone ever really talks about, what are you watching on Netflix? What's going on here? And it has been unconsciously programming people for whatever's happening right now, whatever's coming. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know for sure that there's no way that a tool like Netflix, which has such massive influence over the planet, you can know for sure that is being used, of course. So the fact that they were releasing something that's trending, that everyone's talking about, it's got to do with social media, I thought to myself, I don't really think I need to watch that. Anyway, I did. I had some, obviously really dear friends keep saying to me, watch it, so I did. And so I'm just going to talk about that very briefly because I could go on and on about it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to point out a couple little things, just what sort of caught my attention straight away. So it starts off by getting your trust. It's obviously very well done. It's a documentary, the way they do it, where they really suck you in. They start off by getting your trust by presenting these experts who are revealing themselves, experts in the field of social media, like the people on the ground level growing these companies like Facebook and Google and Twitter. The main person that they're talking about, that sort of seems to be the lead role in this story, was in charge of ethics for one of the large social media platforms. And he was kind of driving it. So he was the one who sort of first discovered that maybe, this whole social media thing is a little bit negative. So he's revealing himself and thinking, wow, I'm not sure if this is the right thing, and talking about all the damage and devastation that social media is doing. So it really sucks you in there. And I'm sure that these people are genuine. I think they are personally genuine to the cause. I just don't think that they're seeing the overarching manipulation, which I'm about to go into, about what Facebook and, for example, mostly is doing, and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. So I genuinely think that these people are genuine. But then, bam, the intention, the reason for the series reveals itself. It is, the manipulation starts to show itself. They start off by going into Pizzagate. So, when they want to start talking about how social media is now an infestation of disinformation, conspiracy theory, fake news. So that's basically what the purpose of this Social Dilemma series or documentary is about, in my opinion. It is to get the masses to see truthers as conspiracy theorists who are supporting disinformation or getting disinformation from social media and who are being sucked in to fake news. That is the reason for Social Dilemma, because that is basically what the second part of the whole documentary is about. They use Pizzagate as an example, saying, there was this conspiracy theory, Pizzagate, that was so bad that someone even kind of, stormed into this pizza place trying to free children, and then they show footage of this person being brought down to the ground. So basically, the people who are watching this, the sleepers, are going to be driven more into the divide and further away from the truth that we know as the truth, but they see as conspiracy theories. That is what Social Dilemma has done. And it's very interesting because they did exactly the same thing with the Epstein documentary. What they did was they kind of showed, Epstein was already under the bus. There was no point trying to protect that guy anymore. So they threw him under the bus and they gave the story and they made it engaging enough for people to want to watch and, deep enough so they would feel that they were educated and up to speed of what was happening with this guy and the evils of what he was doing. But really, what I saw was a whole bunch of unnecessary photos of him standing there next to Donald Trump, as if they were mates. They never said anything about their relationship much, but it was just there. So basically they created this whole documentary and then they subliminally put in these images of Trump and tying Trump into that whole thing, when really anyone who has investigated that story knows that Trump and Epstein were not friends, that Trump had him banned from certain venues. I'm not going to go into that, and I'm not even saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'm just saying that throwing the president, an image of Epstein and the president of America into this documentary randomly throughout the whole thing is obviously some kind of subconscious programming attempt, which is exactly what I see the Social Dilemma being. So it lulls you into this false sense of security, that it's on your side, that they're revealing information to wake you up and blah, 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 like they're on the side of the truth. But then, bam, what they do is they just say all of this information that is truth is conspiracy theory, it's disinformation, it's fake news. And that is why social media is bad, because it's spreading negative, false messages that's creating and dismantling democracy. They're basically saying that social media is facilitating crazy crackpot conspiracy theory narratives that is bringing down society and causing chaos. And they show images of the black BLM riots and all that sort of stuff. The whole thing I could see was obviously some type of programming. It is programming to drive people further away from truth, to make the divide between the people who the mainstream media believers and the ones who are digging deeper and looking further into things, creating that divide between the two even further. Now, I'm not suggesting that there wasn't anything that got me thinking. Obviously, yeah, I definitely took away some, it gave me a lot to think about in terms of my relationship with social media. I am looking at it, I'm checking the likes and blah, 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 blah. But nowhere near as much as anything that I feel others do or that I consider a problem, but it's definitely present. So I'm just looking at that. So that's fine. In conclusion, that's my wrap of Social Dilemma, that it is another programming tool to create more divide between the mainstream media followers and the truther community, another tool to defame thought leaders on platforms like YouTube who are educating and, sharing their information. It's just, they kept using the flat earth analogy all the way through. So they're just throwing all these subconscious kind of terms in there just so you can throw it all in the same basket. Pizzagate's the same as flat earth people and blah, blah, blah. They're all crazy. It's just an obvious PSYOP. It's just another PSYOP, psychological operation. This is what Social Dilemma is. So thank you. Love you guys. I'll check you later. Oh, and before I go, I just want to acknowledge the most common theory that's getting about, which is that Netflix, or the agenda to release Social Dilemma, is to get everyone to close down their social media accounts and to get off social media. That's what a lot of people are sort of saying, and that may be the case, obviously. I just feel like if that's what their only agenda was, or their main agenda, I feel there would be easier ways and other ways to do that, inclusive of just shutting them down or even just throwing people off them, kicking people out willy-nilly all the time. Easy to imagine considering the level of censorship that's going on right now. I feel they need social media as well as we do. We all need it. And it's positive and negative for them. So this strategy is a way to combat that, to keep social media so that the haters can still hate the truthers. They can keep it and use it to their advantage, and they can also use it to defame again, the truthers and release their PSYOP about crazy kooky theories like Pizzagate and Flat Earth and this is an invasion and that the pandemic is all hoax. Like, pretty much all of those things I believe in personally. I'm not sure about the Flat Earth thing. I actually think this is probably a hologram more than anything. It's probably not even a shape. Who knows? But I think it's beyond human comprehension and we should stop fighting about things we don't understand. But anyway, so I just wanted to add that of course, yes, it is potentially a way to try and get people off social media, but I think that they need social media. So by doing this, they get to keep it and just sort of close down the effectiveness of the truther community to use it to their advantage as well. Thanks.